Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kansas Speedway. We are here after the conclusion of the Hollywood Casino 400, the second round of the playoffs, and Tyler Reddick emerged victorious. It's the third win in 4 races at Kansas for the 45 car at 2311. They've clearly got this place figured out, but it was an exciting one from start to finish. And the action really, the storylines began really at the start. And that storyline was at lap 3. Truex, who started third, he was dropping back, and he then had a puncture in the right rear, and he hit the wall, and he was out. His race was over. And he was also the guy who picked a win, so that didn't last very well. But so he's now -7 heading into Bristol for the cut line. It's not a must-win, but considering they won the regular season title, it's definitely going to be some nervous territory for them. But Truex had the problem. He wasn't the only one with tire issues today. Wyatt, who were some other drivers that fell victim to issues today?
So some other drivers that had issues today were drivers like Bubba Wallace, running second up there behind Kyle Larson, who was leading at the time. He ended up getting a right rear, and it just completely ruined his day. He fell 5 laps down at one point, finished outside the top 30, and now he's, I believe, somewhere around 17 points below the cut line. Regardless, going into Bristol, not as good of a racetrack for him. It feels like a must-win situation for the 23 team. On the other end, Chris Buescher was another driver that ended up getting a right rear tire explode on with 7 laps to go, but it ended up costing him to where he's only plus 13 ahead going into the trek that he won last year at Bristol. So not as dire for him, but still stressful, not as good of a point where he could be, instead of finishing what would have been 11th to 12th had it wasn't for the tire.
Indeed. So not some very happy drivers after Kansas. Certainly some good ones. The first half was dominated by Hendrick. Larson led 98 of the first 114 laps. And then after that, it was Chase Elliott. He led 47 on the day. He ultimately finished 6th, but he actually more than doubled his laps led total this season. So the way the season's gone, a much needed run for them. After that, by the end of stage 2, it was Brad Keselowski that won. He led the way for Ford, and with 23 laps led. And then as the final stage took place, it became clear that it was Denny Hamlin who had the best car. He got past Brad, Tyler Reddick followed, and there was an 82-lap green flag run, and it looked like that was going to be the way to the finish, with Hamlin running away with it and Reddick not far behind. But then it was Buescher's blown tire that set the field up for a restart, and we had lots of split decisions on pit road. Suarez stayed out. Eric Jones, Kyle Busch, and Joey Logano all took 2 tires, while Hamlin was the first car off with 4. And it was Jones and Logano that were coming to the white, battling side by side, but it was Reddick with the freshest tires. He had gotten through everyone, took them 3 wide at the white flag, and then he sailed to the win. But obviously, quite some big days for some of the people. Eric Jones got his best finish of the season in 3rd. He was running almost top 10 all day before that. Wyatt, you got to talk to him after the race. What did he say there?
He said he was very proud of his team. It's back-to-back weeks where he really had a fast car. The crew absolutely came in the clutch for him, just like they did in Darlington. He made up a ton of spots on pit road tonight, and the 2 tires that was the call for the end of the race just put him in the spot to potentially win. If it weren't for Logano just being on his side and how fast the Toyotas were, and Reddick and Hamlin, we could have been seeing the 43 car getting victory lane again, possibly. But it was such a good day for that team and what they did, and what a finish.
Yes. Some other beneficiaries of that was Logano, who wasn't really running towards the front all day, but he took the 2 tires, and he ended up 5th, and now he's plus 12 above the cut line. It was going to be a lot worse of a playoff situation for him before that. Kyle Busch also managed to finish 7th, and the top 5 was Reddick, Hamlin, who did manage to clear his way through traffic. He finished second, and had he had a couple more laps, he might have gotten Reddick, because he closed on him in a hurry on that last set of corners. But it was Reddick, Hamlin, Jones, Larson, and Logano the top 5. As stated before, Larson ended up leading 99 laps. It was at halfway point of the race. He stayed on older tires, got loose on a restart, and basically killed the tires. He fell back to 20th. He eventually made his way back towards the top 5, but like Hamlin, others, he wasn't able to get through the traffic at time. And he also had a bit of a controversy with Chase Elliott on pit road. Obviously, overtime caution. Pit road gets very busy, and it was Reddick, Elliott, and Larson going basically 3 abreast on pit road. Brad Keselowski pulled out. Larson didn't think he had enough space, so he turned right a little bit and made contact with Chase Elliott. Chase wasn't happy. He kind of rammed into Larson on the apron shortly after. I talked to Larson after the race, and he said that it was mostly just a heat of a moment thing. I think he says that when both of them see the replay, they'll understand that there really wasn't much they could do. But otherwise, it's Larson, Reddick locked into the next round, and it is... You know what time it is. It's Saturday night at Thunder Valley, Bristol Motor Speedway for the Bristol Night Race. It's going to be a good one. We're going to have a bunch of people from Frontstretch there. That is all of us from Kansas Speedway. He's Wyatt. I'm Steven, and so long, and have a good night.
It's Bristol, baby.
This is Harrison Burton, driver the number 21. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, check out one of these 2 videos beside me. Visit frontstretch.com for more racing content.